years ago, they were like because they are located in the south and like
Mm-hmm.
connected to the ocean. So they back in the days when slaves were traded, they were part of these slavery trade and stuff like this. So of course, this also still has some roots. So why
Yeah, of course, it has impact on the
yeah,
people.
yeah. You are in an environment of just students everywhere around. You can do sports anywhere you want and always meet people like in your age, like people that are in the same situation as you and stuff like this. So this is really the college environment is really something that you I think you just have there, and I've never experienced this before.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our podcast Around the Globe. Today, I'm more than excited to welcome my next guest, Niels. We're going to have a real exciting conversation about his experiences during his minor and internship. His minor, he did in fact in America, which is a new country for us, and I'm really, really happy that we have someone to talk about this. Hello, Niels. Thank you for joining our podcast.
Hi, Demira. Yeah, I'm very glad to be here. My first podcast as well. And yeah, I'm always excited to tell anybody and also you in the podcast about my experiences because, yeah, you just experience so many things and that it basically takes some time to tell somebody about it. So I think this podcast is a good opportunity for that.
It is for sure. It's a good opportunity for you, for us that have to make this choice. It's really hard to choose which country exactly we want to go. So it's nice that we have people to talk to help us with our decision. But how did you make your decision to go to America?
Yeah, that's of course a good question. So basically, when I started making my decision, I looked which countries I want to go, and I was actually quite sure that I wanted to go out of Europe. So I wanted to go more far away from home, because I also did my internship closer to or in Europe. So I wanted to make a step out of Europe and go to another country. And I don't know, since I've been a child and also just connected to my hobbies and interest. For example, I watch a lot of basketball. I play basketball. And yeah, just the United States have already always been a dream for me, a place where I want to go. And also just because it's so different, it's something that I always wanted to see and yeah, to actually be part of. And that's why I looked for the United States for universities there. There were a couple that I could select between. Yeah, but at the end, I chose the University of Mississippi.
Oh, that's nice. And do you remember any expectations that you had before going to the USA?
Um, yeah, so basically, if I'm completely honest, not a lot. So also because I did my internship first and I was still with my thoughts. I was just finishing with the internship and with my experience that I had there, and
Yeah.
then it was that I was next going to the United States, and I was yeah, I don't know. Just finishing with my thoughts from the internship.
Yeah.
But of course, so I had to plan everything, which also was a part where I thought of how life could look like there. From the organization, I don't know, with the visa application and stuff like this. There, I made some thoughts on how life could look like.
And you said that your head was a bit crowded from thoughts of the internship. Did you have the time to realize that you're going to America?
Um, yeah, actually, not really. I would say maybe just 1 or 2 weeks, because for me also the time between internship and minor was very short. So I just came back from the internship, and then the minor was already just a few weeks ahead. Um, so yeah, basically, I just went there without a lot of, I don't know, expectations. Or I mean, of course I was excited, but I did not imagine exactly, or I wasn't really worried about how life could be, or how my situation could look like, because I would say I also learned a lot from the internship, that when you move away from home, that you don't have to be afraid, or I don't know, that there's something can go wrong, of course, but this doesn't make life too hard. So it's just the feeling that I also got from the internship, that you are independent, that you can handle problems, or anything that happens, you can handle it, and that's why I was less concerned about anything that could happen
So you were already mentally prepared for change. You already have experienced change once with the internship. You were ready for your minor. How did you prepare for it?
Yeah, so of course it started with you mean like the organizational
Yeah.
stuff, the administration. It started with a visa application. There I had to it was a long process. That's why if you consider going there, it's worth mentioning it because you have to start early with the application for the visa because you first have to fill in a lot of documents and forms online until you can get an appointment for the visa application, where you have to go either to, if you are from Germany, you have to go in one of three cities, which is Frankfurt, Munich, Berlin, I think. So there are always these offices in different countries, only few usually, where you can apply for the visa, and it takes a long time until you get the appointment. Yeah, and this was basically already a long process. But of course, I also was in contact with the university, and I selected my classes, my courses, which I want to take. Also, for the housing, I could decide between different housing options. So in my university, they had, for example, on-campus housing and off-campus housing. I decided for off-campus housing because I also had a friend who was at the same university a semester before me, and I also talked a lot to him on what he can recommend, and he recommended me the off-campus housing. Yeah, and also, for example, what I had to choose about meal plan and stuff like this. So, yeah, some other smaller decisions.
Do you remember when you arrived there?
Yeah, it was I think in 15th of January
15.
in this year, 2024.
So it was winter time.
It was winter time.
And you said you went to the University of Mississippi. So you were in Mississippi. How is the weather there during January?
Yeah, of course. So this is where the the story started, basically. So the first flight was actually good because I first flew to London, and from London I flew to it was Dallas, and from Dallas we had the problem because from Dallas the next flight would have been to Memphis, which was the last station for Memphis. I would have come to the university, but in Memphis there was bad weather. There was snow. It was very cold, and that's why they they first wanted to cancel the flight from Dallas to Memphis, and this would have meant that I would have had to stay a night in Dallas, and this would have also messed up a lot of plans because actually the university would have picked the exchange students up from the airport only on this day. So if I would arrive a day later, it was really a problem.
You would have to deal with that on your own.
Yeah. But I was lucky that I could get a later flight on the same day. So there was another flight which then luckily took place. It was completely crowded, and I was really lucky that I could get in there because I remember the situation at the airport. Everybody wanted to take this flight because there were many people that missed the first flight. There was even a fire alert, and everybody standing at our gate wasn't leaving the airport because everybody wanted to go in this plane.
They were so onto this. They knew they want to get it into that flight.
Yeah,
oh my god, these
really.
people.
At the end, I managed to arrive in Memphis late in the night, and however, then it was still too late to be picked up by the university to get us on campus. So they said they would pick us up on the next day. However, then I needed
that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so then I needed to stay in a hotel in Memphis, which was better than in Dallas because then I knew on the next day I don't have to take any flight anymore.
Yeah, at least you're there.
Picked up, right?
Yeah.
I'm close. So I stayed a night in Memphis. Yeah, and the next day I was then picked up by the university. Finally. But I also remember in Memphis, we were picked up on the next day in the afternoon. So we had the morning, we had time, I don't know, to do anything you want.
Nice.
And yeah, but it was my first day in the States. So I said, I have to go out. I have to look where I am. But yeah, it was since it was the hotel was close to the airport in Memphis, and I don't know if you've ever heard something about Memphis, the
No.
city. It's a quite dangerous city in the United
Really?
States.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice
and
location to be at.
yeah, and to go out, of course. So it was not exciting area around the airport. There was just I don't know, gas stations, trucks were standing, like parking lots.
Yeah, there's
Uh,
nothing excited around the airports
mm,
most of the times.
yeah, nothing exciting, but yeah, still, I said because also the weather was great. So I wanted to go out and just see because it's something completely new. Um, yeah, but it was very weird because nobody was on the streets, and I was then going out with a friend that I also took the whole trip on with from
Oh,
my university that
so
came
you
with me.
went together with someone to America. That's
Hmm.
really nice.
Yeah.
Was that hard to arrange?
No, it was like actually not really per accident, but there were just like three students that had the same university selected.
Uh-huh,
I
okay.
didn't know beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we arrived, we exchanged each other, and we knew that we both are gonna go there. So we said, yeah, we're both from Fontys, we know each other, so we can plan a bit together and
Of course. It's always
to
better to have someone with you.
yeah to not be alone. Yeah, sure. Yeah, but so then we walked around the airport area, and nobody else was on the streets, which was actually quite weird, but still was not like that. I thought that's not worth going out, but at the end it turned out when I don't know I talked with anybody about the. So I talked to other people about what I did the first day when I
Mhm.
arrived, and everybody said it was the baddest decision that I could have made to go out around the airport area in Memphis, because it's so dangerous. Like anybody could just drive around and shoot you or whatever.
Shoot you.
Yeah,
Oh, that's the real American experience.
yeah, it is. It is.
Oh my God.
It might seem I don't know, not unreal
Mm-hmm.
that this could happen, but actually, especially as a white as for white people, this is a dangerous area because also Memphis is filled with or there are lot of black people living,
Mm-hmm.
and they are, even if you think it is less a topic, it's still a big topic, the differences between black and white people,
In
and
America,
they
yeah, of
don't
course.
like each
It's
other,
oh
and
my God.
yeah, that's why it was actually really dangerous.
Oh,
But
that's
it ended lucky at the end. So now I know that I would never do this again, but
you're still
I
here.
was
That's the
lucky.
important that's
Yeah.
the important thing. You had a lot of not a lot of, but a bit of trouble around your flights and etc. Did Fontys help you to arrange the other flights and the staying in the hotel, or was this something that you had to deal with by yourself?
No, there was something that I had to deal with by myself.
By
So
yourself.
yeah, so basically at this point I already was in contact with the university in the United States, so Ole
Mm-hmm.
Miss, because they had also somebody working there uh, to receive the you say receive
Welcome
to
the.
welcome the exchange
Mm-hmm.
students, right?
Yeah.
So somebody who did all the organizational stuff, also for the pickup and stuff. And they told us, they sent us. We had a WhatsApp chat, and they sent us information on hotels where we could stay, on the location where the bus is gonna pick us up and
Uh-huh.
take us
Okay.
to the campus. So they did not organize it for us, but they said what we can do, and this was probably the best solution. And then we just had to follow this and yeah,
Yeah, at
do it.
least you got some support from somewhere
Yeah.
because you're
Because I had no
in.
idea, and I don't
Of
know,
course.
I wouldn't have known where I should stay, so I don't know, I would have picked something random,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, sure.
And
All
go around the airport
yeah,
again.
yeah.
So, okay, you arrive there. They finally, after a short walk, pick you up and you go where?
You mean I arrived at the university, or
Yeah, after they picked you up from the airport,
yeah?
where were you headed to?
We headed to the university then,
Mm-hmm.
to campus.
So then you arrived to the university.
Yeah.
What were your first thoughts?
So since we arrived quite late, it was already a bit dark. So while we were sitting in the bus, I didn't see a lot about the campus. So just few things. But at first I remember when we entered the campus, it was really big. Like I never imagined like a campus being that big. There were even like a big when you entered the campus, there were like big signs saying "Welcome to the University of Mississippi." And then I don't know, we drove a few minutes until we finally arrived. Where we stayed for the night, which was actually not the location, the off-campus housing
Mhm.
location, but we stayed in the hotel because due to the snow, there were a lot of problems. So they couldn't prepare the housing for the new students. So we couldn't move in the housings where I stayed the rest of the semester. So the first nights we slept in the hotel. Yeah, but at first, of course, it was very big, and I never saw that a university has its own hotel, and
What? So the
yeah,
hotel was from the university, not like
yeah,
something separate.
yeah. It was they use it also for the football players and stuff like this when they have, or other
Okay.
athletes when they have, I don't know, competitions, games and
Mhm.
stuff like this. They stay there, or anybody who visits can also stay
That's
there.
convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said your housing was off campus,
Mhm.
and you also said that a friend advised you to do so. Why?
I mean, it was also that a lot of other exchange students who arrived there also stayed in the off-campus housing, and also just from the things from the living standard, like
Mhm.
you had your own room, your own bedroom, and your own bathroom. But however, you shared living room and kitchen and stuff like this with four other people. But at least you had your own bedroom, and yeah, there were other options, but they were also quite expensive, and that's why it wasn't for me. It wasn't worth to go to on-campus housing because also even if you're off campus, you were still very close to the campus, so you were not too far away. And since the campus is very big anyway, so even if you're living on campus, you still have some distances that you need to make. I don't know if you want to go to a special certain building or something like this.
Mhm.
So yeah, I also had a bike there when I was there.
Okay, that's
So
nice.
uh,
Something familiar.
a really European thing. An American would never use a bike. They
Really?
all had their cars, of course.
Okay, okay, yeah.
So if you saw anybody on campus riding a bike, you could be quite sure that it was an exchange student.
Okay.
But yeah, it was definitely because I don't get a car for a semester,
Of
and
course, in America,
uh,
who does that?
there are some buses actually that drove on campus, so that took you somewhere. But if you wanted also to go around outside of campus, so I don't know, in the city or something like this, it was really bad public transportation. So the bike was definitely the best transportation.
You mentioned the city. What were your impression of the city?
So basically, it was a college town.
Mhm.
That's how you call it. So it was a really small city. Basically, the campus was the biggest part of the city. So
Oh,
it
okay.
was really like not a I don't know how many people lived there, but it was really a small town, and there were like some Walmart and big shops, and also people living there. But the main thing was the campus there. So yeah, just for shopping, or I don't know, for smaller things, or also there was also like they called it the square, like the center of the
Mhm.
city where they had like the municipality, and this was also a place where a lot of students went to when they on to party, to the bars, to clubs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What is the name of the city actually?
It's Oxford.
Oxford.
Yeah,
Oh,
Oxford,
okay.
but not the Oxford from the UK. It's
Okay.
another Oxford. Yeah.
And is
Yeah.
there any major big city near to Oxford or?
Yeah, the next big city was Memphis, where I
Okay.
also
Yeah.
arrived with, but it's like not close. It's still 2 hours
Mhm.
drive. So, and the thing is that there's also like I said, very bad public transportation, not even railway from Oxford to Memphis. So, basically from Oxford, you are really stuck if you don't have a car.
Yeah.
So there are really some places where you can't get along without a car.
You spent quite time in America. We all know that Americans have different culture from Europeans. What were the cultural shocks for you?
Yeah, good question. So I wouldn't say that everything was a shock, because for example, I remember when I arrived, it was more like a positive shock, because the first people that I talked to, they were like so open, so friendly, so so helpful. For example, they, I don't know if you see also just stranger people, they always ask you, hi, how are you doing, but not like here. They are really serious about how you're doing.
Also,
And
they actually care.
yes, they
Okay.
actually care, which was something that I haven't experienced like this before,
Mhm.
which was very nice. And this also gave you a feeling of being welcomed, I would say. So I don't know, it was easy to feel good there, because you saw that everybody was open and interested. Also, when you then said that you are not American and where you're from, and you told the whole story. Yeah, so I would say this was a first positive cultural shock, but yeah, then you of course have also other impressions, which I previously mentioned a bit, that you can't get along basically without a car. I would have never imagined that, because you when you are there, you actually realize what everybody says, that everything is bigger in the States. This is
Yeah,
actually true,
it is.
because yeah, cities and everything is just so big, and I don't know, distances from somewhere to another place, they are just, you look on your phone and see maps, and you say, oh yeah, I just want to go there. It will take me, it looks like it's very close, it will take me 5 minutes. But then if you actually go, you realize that it's way longer way, and
Yeah.
that, yeah, actually they build everything bigger, but they also have lots of space. So it's not like the European cities that everything is just packed and crowded, and everywhere there are standing houses. It's that they just have space, and they have big streets, big roads, and until the next big city comes, it can take you some time.
You as a person, how do you feel in that type of environment?
I mean, obvious, you feel like quite small,
Mhm.
but yeah, for me, it was something that I had to get used to a bit. But especially when I was in on campus, so at the university, it was something that I got used to, and that was also okay, because there you still had the campus, which was big compared to other campuses, but still you can get along with a bike, and you can use it to go anywhere you want on campus, and this was fine. So thinking about the time on campus, this was good. This worked.
And were there any differences regarding your day-to-day life because of everything going on?
You mean because of the size, that everything is bigger, or?
Yeah, except for you riding the bike
Yeah,
and not having a car.
I would say not really. So sometimes if the distance was too long, as I said, you could also take the bus, which was running quite frequently. But yeah, otherwise, I also had some at the end or in the middle. I
Mhm.
had some friends that were living there, or that were Americans, and they had their cars. So if I wanted to go somewhere more far away, I could have asked them to go there. So this was also like easier than if I had something more far away, or where if the weather was bad or something like this that I can't go by bike, that I can rely on them.
That's nice that they're helping and ready to give you a
Yeah,
hand
yeah,
or a ride.
yeah.
Regarding the communication with the people there, you already obviously know English, which is good because some people go to countries that English is not their main language, and it's a bit hard to communicate. So for you, it's easier. But besides that, were there any differences in the communication styles of people there?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say that there were, as I said before, that there are some differences in regards to the small talk
Mm-hmm.
that you have between people, but otherwise, culturally, I mean, I would say the Americans are less direct in their communication style than Europeans. So they usually, if they don't like, or if they don't like you or something like this, they wouldn't say it straight in your face or something like this. So they sometimes hide a bit what they actually want to say. But otherwise, I would say that it was easy, and I was also quite similar to them after a short time. So I knew how they were communicating,
Mm-hmm.
and that's also just because they are so friendly and open, you have the opportunity to communicate with them, and you get to know them, and then also you can adapt to them in case that you need to.
Besides them being friendly and open, are there any like traits that you noticed about them that are different from here?
Yeah, so I would say they are very, in general, very convinced of themselves. So
Mm-hmm.
they think they can do everything or anything that
They're confident. That's
yeah, they're confident. I don't know. So they actually also mean it serious. So sometimes you think they are joking, but they actually mean it serious. So I don't know if you're battling with them or something like this. They always they want to outperform, or they, I don't know. I did, for example, a lot of sports,
mm-hmm.
and
Oh. Okay.
and then they even if they hadn't done a sport any time before, they always said, "Oh, I'm gonna smash you. I'm gonna win against you." So they are really like convinced of themselves. You could even sometimes think they were arrogant, because in case they,
They
if
are.
yeah, they are
In cases,
sometimes. But
yeah.
yeah, I took it with humor, so it was fun,
Of course, yeah.
and yeah, then it works.
Of course, it's better for you if you look at that way, the funny way.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, they're very competitive. That's what I get.
yeah. True.
Is it the same when it comes to the studies?
Not all of them, of course. So you always have different people and different ambitions. But I would say, in general, I mean, of course, it also depends on the university where you are. So the University of Mississippi, where I've been, this is a rather easy university to get in. So for
Mm-hmm.
some universities, they have very low acceptance rates, but for this university, it is quite high. So I would say there, it is not only about being the best student, but it's also the college life about just having a nice time there for a lot of people, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's why in terms of studying, there are few people that are really ambitious, but I would say the average is more like yeah, relaxed, and they don't take more time than they have to
Okay.
study and stuff like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you study there?
So I selected courses similar to IB here. So I
Mm-hmm.
had also some focus on finance class, and the other class were management classes, basically. Yeah, these were my classes.
Were there any differences when it comes to the learning style
Yeah.
and the teaching style as well?
So the teaching style, I wouldn't say that there were big differences. I mean, just a big difference was in general that there was a mandatory attendance. So if you weren't there,
Mm-hmm.
they record attendance. So you in most classes they attended, they record
Yeah.
they looked for attendance. But yeah, so the classes were different in a way that you in I think all of my classes I had midterm exams,
Mm-hmm.
and also sometimes homeworks, so assignments that you had to submit, which is not very often the case at Fontys, just in some classes. But so yeah, there you really have to you have to stay updated to be prepared for the classes. I mean, even it may sound now that it's very hard to get grades there, but if you just attend the classes, it's quite easy to pass. So in some classes, I always had a quiz at the end of the class where they also, like, through that they recorded the attendance. So if you took the quiz, they knew that you were
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
And these were like these were 5 multiple choice questions just about things that were talked about in the class. So it was not very, very difficult. Yeah, but still, you could not just say, "Oh, I'm not going to the class today." If you said it 3 times, that could mean that you would fail the class.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So they're strict about attendance.
yeah.
Tell me about the examination.
I would say that so the exam that we have, they were usually also multiple choice.
Okay.
Um, so the examination was actually quite clear. So if you pass or not, but I would say in general, for example, for the final grade, also they always took like the average of the, for example, of the 3 exams that you had in a class. But in some cases, I don't know, when students at the end were standing between an A or an B, so A is the highest grade and B is the second highest grade there. It was also, which I was very surprised of, it was also sometimes the case that just students went to the teacher and said, "Yeah, I have a B right now, but I really need this A, and I'm very close to the A. Can you just give me the A? Because then I have a better GPA and stuff like this." And this
In
is,
university.
yeah, in a
Wow.
university, and this was
Okay.
something that I first thought it was like a joke. So when students were asking like,
Yeah.
"Can you give me an A?" Actually without the reason behind, so related to their performance, I was very surprised. But yeah, in some cases this was like really the case, that so they were like really chill and, I don't know,
Yeah.
relaxed. It somehow felt shocked. I somehow felt shocked because I never thought that it can be that easy to get good grades. But yeah, that's something that actually sometimes happens there.
Did you ever make use of that?
No, because I did not have to,
Mm-hmm.
because the grades for Fontys in the minor, they don't count.
Uh-huh.
So you
Okay.
just have to pass the
Pass. Yeah.
classes. Yeah, yeah. But otherwise, I would say as an exchange student, you always have a quite good relationship to the teachers, because
Mm-hmm.
usually at the beginning of the classes, you stay there a bit longer in the classes to, I don't know, to also talk a bit with the teacher or something like this, or by any way they usually find out that you are an exchange student or that you are not American. I don't know, because you're not used to something, and then they realize that maybe, I don't know, you just are not familiar with something. But then they really take care, and I don't know, if you have any problems or questions, they help you and stuff like this. And um, yeah, they also sometimes involve you in the classes, so that you talk about, I don't know, if there's anything they talk about, then you can say how things are like in your country where you're from, or something like this. So yeah,
So they include you.
they include you.
That's nice.
Yeah,
What was your favorite subject there?
I would say there was one subject that was really interesting for me, so that I learned
Mm-hmm.
something, which was the finance class, where which was quite hard. So I had to spend some time on it. Sometimes it was, of course, annoying to spend more time on university than, I don't know, having fun and doing some things with friends. But I would say that I actually learned something in this class. Yeah, it was a finance class, and if you later in the 7th semester choose your electives, this helped me, for example, for the mergers and acquisitions class for the course, the elective that I selected. But otherwise, there was also class management of strategic planning, which was quite similar to what we do here at Fontys. So it was also practical. We looked at some companies and
Uh-huh.
then
Okay.
did some external analysis like Porter or Pestle and stuff like this, and then had to come up with some recommendations and stuff like this, which was also quite nice, I would say.
Were you involved in some group projects?
Yeah, not in a lot, because this is generally not the case here, because it's not project-based learning or something like this. But in this one class, management of strategic planning, I was involved in group work. Um, yeah, and I would say, compared to Fontys, you realize that they don't do projects really often. So
Okay.
uh, it was like really doing things, I don't know, the latest possible, and also expectations were not really high. So what I was also really surprised of, how they used ChatGPT there. So they really had no problem with ChatGPT, using ChatGPT for, I don't know, a whole presentation or something like this, without even uh, reading about it. They
No
just
way.
thought they put a prompt in ChatGPT of their assignment, and without checking it, what ChatGPT wrote, they just submitted it.
No way.
Yeah.
Wait, how does the university react? Like, aren't there any requirements that you're not supposed to use it? Or
Yeah, so actually, I think they must have something like AI checkers and something like this. But I mean, in these cases, it was just that it wasn't detected basically. So it weren't
oh
like big tasks. So really things that were graded at the end were like smaller tasks at the end
okay,
led to the big outcome. But
okay,
yeah,
that's crazy.
yeah.
So they really, really rely on
Yeah,
ChatGPT.
and they are also really lazy. So that's usually they are lazy, so they just do as much as they have to, and they are happy when they are done. So what I experience is that at the university where I was, they don't. Lots of students don't do more than they have to.
Mm-hmm. So they don't try harder than.
Yeah, they want the best grades, but they also want to do the least possible. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I don't know if it worked like that, but okay.
yeah.
How is the experience then with working with people that deal with the project in this way?
There was not a lot that I could do about it because I mean I could have of course gone to the teacher and said that there was a problem, but I was not really because I also didn't know how usually group works
Yeah.
looks like there, so I was not really sure how it should work and stuff like this. So I was just doing the things that I had to do in the group, and I was also like more letting them lead the group, so say what they should
Yeah,
do because I
of
thought
course.
they know how project work there, what are the
Yeah, of
requirements,
course, of
so what
course.
they usually do. But yeah, I mean, at the end, I was also then more critical when we were just ChatGPTing whole things or something like this. But it was at the end also that it worked out, and I was just happy with passing and having a okay or good grade, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I didn't worry too much about it.
As long as you pass,
Yeah,
it's fine.
yeah.
um, I'm really interested in how did you balance your social life with your studies? You said that they're a bit more easygoing.
I would say that, for example, since I said that there's a lot of assignments and homework sometimes that you have to do, um, it was usually the case that I also had to study a bit on the weekend or something like
Mm-hmm.
this. But yeah, so I would say it still worked out. So I was lucky that I had, for example, some friends that I knew that if I struggled at something with some homeworks or something like this, I could ask them to help out or something like this. Yeah, so I would say I still definitely experienced enough of the social life and didn't have to study too much.
Tell me about that, about the
The
social life.
social life. Yeah, so it's basically began with the that the in the housing they put a lot of exchange students together. So at first the social life was really within the exchange student group
Mm-hmm.
until we got to know more other people and Americans. But yeah, this was also like a very close group of friends. Most of them were from Europe, but not all of them. So was also from Bolivia. Um, but yeah, there were also some Germans, some Swiss people. So it was very easy to make friendships there. And since we experienced the first weeks and everything together, we were we became friends and also did things together. For example, we then also later did the trip to Los Angeles together, or also we went to New Orleans. So
Ooh.
yeah, this was really nice.
I'm really, really curious. Did you attend the typical American house party?
Yeah, so it was what is a big thing there at universities. They have fraternities. I don't know if you've ever heard of fraternities. It's like a community, I would say,
Okay. Is
of
that the frat boys? How were they
yeah,
called?
frat
Okay.
boys.
Oh,
Yeah,
tell me about that. I'm
yeah, yeah,
really.
yeah. So they have their big houses where
Mhm.
like the community, like I would say it's usually maybe 20 to 40 people.
Wow.
not more, maximum 40, maybe 30, live in.
It's not like a little amount of people.
Yeah, it's a big house actually where they live in, and
So 20 people in one house.
yeah, but it's a big house.
But again, do they share kitchen?
Yeah.
Oh
They all have their own, I don't know, bedrooms and stuff like this, but
Mhm.
they share like the big area, living
Yeah.
room and stuff like this. But still, it's a very nice house, and usually you only get in also if you have a good network and also a lot of money because it's expensive to be part of it. But yeah, they
Oh, so it's actually something that it's like regulated, and you are actually into a community, a real one, not just something that.
yeah.
Oh.
So it's something that I don't know. You have to apply to get in. You cannot just say, "Yeah, I go and I want to go here," and then you're in.
Okay, that's
So you really have to
interesting.
apply,
Yeah.
and then they select who they want to have in their community, in their fraternity. Yeah, and then they usually they have activities. The main activities, of course, the biggest are the parties that they do, which is a really fun part. And I was lucky that I could get in to some of them because you also just get there usually when you are invited. So when you are, I don't know, friends with somebody of them, but they are usually very big. So I remember when I was there, like how many people there were? Hundreds of people, definitely.
Oh my
So it was
god.
really packed. They also used their garden, their backyard, and stuff like this.
Mhm.
And they have a DJ organized and something like this who plays music. They have drinks and everything free. So it's if you are there, it's a really it's really nice. Yeah, but it's also you have to know the right people to get in there. But as an exchange student, it's easy because they are always curious
Of course.
about exchange student, and if you say where you're from, and then they are curious, and you say yeah you want to experience it, and they let you in. Yeah.
How was the party and the parties in general that you attended?
It was really nice. So I would say depends also, or it's also different to the parties that I was used to here because they also have some regulations. For example, which was very different there, that they had to shut down every big party at 1 a.m. at 1 o'clock in the night. So that's where the big parties ended. Then usually it was a bit more split. Yeah, because in Mississippi, it's not everywhere in the state, but it's in Mississippi, and they are very religious, and that's why they are very strict with. Usually they are traditionally very strict with alcohol and with parties and stuff like this. So that's why at 1 o'clock the big parties have to end.
What's the difference between the big party and the smaller party when it comes to size? Because
yeah. So I would say like just the smaller parties. I mean, they are then just I don't know. Usually in a smaller friend group in your apartment or something like this, and I don't know. You take 10 or 20 people or something like this.
Okay.
And,
So it's a smaller.
yeah. But yeah. So until the party, the fraternity parties or the bigger parties, they usually then also start a bit earlier, and you still have enough time. So it's just a thing of getting used to it. Here, usually the parties start late and end early in the morning, but yeah, there it's a bit earlier.
At least you can have a nice rest, full sleep, and then be ready for the next day.
Yeah.
You were very, very far away from your home. Did you ever feel homesick at some point?
Definitely. I would say not really. So it's I was really feeling well, and the longer I've been there, I would say the better it even got. So at the beginning, of course, it took me some time until I got used to everything, also the food, to living there, to the people. Yeah, it's just it's also like small things that are different. I don't know, for example, how they have a different when I sleep at night. when you sleep at night, they have a different heating system.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a AC, which is very loud. So, for example, I had to get used to it until I could sleep better. And also, for example, the food was also different to the food that I had at home. So, at the beginning, of course, it takes you some time to get used to it. But I would say the longer I was there, the more I got used to it, the less homesick I was.
You mentioned the food. Tell me a bit more about it.
Yeah. So I don't know what you know about food in the United States, but
What I've heard is that, as everything, the portion, the sizes are bigger,
yeah,
and they put a lot of sugar in
yeah,
everything.
right. It's the most of it is not very healthy. So I don't know if you go to supermarkets and stuff like this, you get a lot of things, a lot of also sweet things, sugar things for a really cheap price. So also that's also a thing why Americans are usually not quite heavy from their weight, from their weight,
Yeah.
quite fat because it's just so cheap to get. Food with a lot of sugar in it. I don't know.
Mhm.
For example, like soft drinks are very cheap there. You get like
Oh.
huge package of Coca-Cola for
Mhm.
only very few money, and that's why it's also just very normal that they don't drink water, but they in any case they drink soft drinks.
Oh
So
my God.
the whole day they drink soft drinks and stuff like this. But also in terms of food, they so I had it also of course depends on where you eat. So
Mhm.
but I had a meal plan on campus. So there
Oh.
was like how you call it the restaurant on campus. How you
Yeah. The cafeteria.
cafeteria,
Yeah.
basically the cafeteria. So there were many different cafeterias with different food they had, but of course, always the one food that they always had was pizza, but the American pizza, so with a lot of cheese, really fat,
Okay.
and burgers with fries. So this is what they always had,
The
and
usual.
yeah, and under the week, so in the week from Monday to Friday, they also had alternatives. So they what was a common alternative were, for example, beans.
Mhm.
They eat a lot of beans, rice, or potatoes. So also something something healthy that you would consider healthy. But yeah, so uh, you see, they as you can see from that, they always have these burgers and pizzas. So if you don't take care of what you eat, you could eat a lot of bad things in a day.
So you should be careful with
Yeah,
the food. Okay.
yeah.
You have to be careful with what you eat there. When it comes to cooking, is it the same way? Because from some friends that went in the States to work, I know that even when you buy food from the stores, it's again a bit tricky because they put a lot of things in the ingredients that also might reflect bad on your health and your weight as well.
Yeah, sure. So it really depends on if you cook with fresh ingredients,
Mm-hmm.
it is possible, I would say. But yeah, the case is so then you really have to use fresh ingredients because they have a lot of prepared foods. I don't know that you just have to put in the microwave or something
Yeah.
like this, like prepared meals. And these are the unhealthy things where they put
Okay. They
everything
cure
in.
you.
Yeah, yeah. But for me, it was not really the case that I cooked for myself, also especially fresh, because I had the cafeteria on campus, and this is really opened every day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really because yes, there are lots of students and they use this meal plan. So this is the cafeteria really is open every day for students to get food. So you can really rely on this, even though they don't always have the best food, but usually they always have an alternative to the burgers and the pizza, and
Yeah.
you have to get along with it then. But yeah, you can rely that you get something to eat there.
I I really want to escape from the stereotype. But again, from a couple of people that have been there, I've heard that when they come back from America, no matter if they watch what they eat or not, if they eat healthy or not, they always have put some weight. Was that the case with you?
No, it wasn't the case with me. However, I'm also very tall, and I don't know. For me, it has always been like this. That if I if I eat a lot, it doesn't matter a lot because I'm very tall, and I don't know. I just also burn a lot of calories, I think. Yeah, but I think that yeah, this is something. If also since you have a lot of possibilities and opportunities to do sports there, yeah, you if you do it, then I think you can be quite even with your calories that you take, that you eat, and then you do the sports to burn them.
You mentioned sports now the second time. You said that you did some earlier as well. What sports did you do there?
Yeah, so I did different kinds of sports, but mainly played basketball. But yes, you have a lot of opportunities there, and that's why I also tried out different sports. So I, for example, they had two big gyms. They called them gyms. So but you don't only have a gym in there. You have like to work out like the what you think of a gym. You have it there, like to I don't know, to train with weights and stuff like this, which I'm not a really fan of, but you could do it. But in these gyms, they also have like then basketball courts, big basketball courts. They have a swimming pool in it.
Nice.
They have for you can play squash in there. You have for outside you have
A squash is what?
squash is something I would say bit similar to tennis. So you have a racket and a ball, and but you smash it against a wall.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
that's good.
I actually I never played it because I also had other sports. For example, then tennis and also pickleball. I don't know if you heard of pickleball.
No.
This is very similar to tennis actually. So it's just a smaller court, and you have other rackets and a different ball, a lighter ball. And this is, I would basically say, this is tennis, but easier. So you have to run less. It takes less effort, and it's easier to play.
Okay.
Because tennis is, I would say, actually quite hard if
Oh
you
no, I
do it
think
the first time.
yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Just had a different name in my mind.
Yeah.
Is it like it's not like a bow, but it's like with.
It has holes.
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Okay.
true.
Yeah. So yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What is that? And yeah.
Yeah, so these were basically the sports that I did, and therefore I usually met with some friends, and then we played together, basketball, for example, or pickleball, or tennis. Yeah, and but this was not necessarily the case that you meet with friends because, especially in the noon or in the afternoon, the gyms were always quite packed, so there were always people like I don't know playing basketball or doing any kind of sports, and you could just ask them if you can play with them, if you can join them. Yeah, and so it was always very easy. Just if you felt like I want to do some sports now, you could go and just do it, and yeah, meet some people while that.
That's extremely nice. We don't have that kind of things here. It would be really nice if we could, but yeah, because you meet a lot of people that way also, and you get to experience new things, which is the spirit of us being here.
Yeah.
Regards the topic of experiencing new things, already you being in America is experiencing a new thing. Did you explore the country in order to find something new again?
Yeah. So since in the first months I experienced basically only the college life, the student life on campus, which was quite limited if you think of how big the states are and all the cities they have. So we had a spring break, and this was the first break that we used to make with our exchange student friend group. This was the first opportunity that we used to travel to a bigger city, and we decided to go to Los Angeles.
Ooh.
Also because we were a lot of us were a big fan of the Lakers, Los Angeles Lakers, of the basketball team. So we wanted to see basketball and the NBA game there. yeah, and also just because it's a big city, a lot of things to see there. You have Hollywood, you have Venice Beach. I don't know if you've ever heard of.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure you've heard of
Yeah,
it.
I've heard about
But
it.
if you know what you can do there, so yeah, there was a lot.
And okay, I wanted to ask you about what different cities you visit, but I
Yeah.
first want to get into the topic of Los Angeles.
Uh-huh.
It's a huge city, right?
Yeah.
How is there?
Yeah. So basically, the since it's really a huge city, we stayed in two different hostels in the time that
Mhm.
we've been there because yeah, you have public transportation in Los Angeles, but it's still it's very bad. However, they what they have Uber, and this is really good there because it's also compared to here taking a taxi or an Uber. It's here it's expensive, but there it's quite cheap, especially if you're in a group with people. So then you can also always share
Of
share
course.
the price for I don't know Uber. So that's how we got along there. But yeah, so we still had two different places that we stayed. So first we were in Hollywood, which was actually really fun because we were there and also really crowded because we were there when the Oscars were given.
Oh no, wait. I can imagine that you have some pictures of that.
Uh, Actually, I don't.
No.
Because I could only take pictures from outside
Mm-hmm.
because since the Oscars were given there, everything was like really strict and they closed also big areas so that you just saw
Really?
from what you saw from the outside were maybe on the top you saw big white tents,
Mm-hmm.
but from the outside you just saw fences and stuff like this. So yeah, sometimes you could take a small sneak peek in, but yeah, they really try to hide it from the public so that I don't know there were no
Of
people
course, of
standing
course.
at the fence and like looking in. Yeah, so I have some picture. I have
Yeah,
some pictures of
I think now
Hollywood,
it's
but not from the Oscars.
I think now it's a good time to see them because we are talking about it.
Yeah, I have definitely pictures from Los Angeles, maybe not especially
Mhm.
from Hollywood, but other nice pictures.
And what other city were you except for Los Angeles?
New Orleans and Miami.
You also have pictures from there?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm so excited to see them. We are where?
Yeah, so this is actually not in Hollywood, but this was
Mhm.
later when we were at Venice Beach. And this is called, what you can see on the picture is Muscle Beach. This is a famous, actually, public gym. I don't know if you've
Really?
heard of it.
No, I haven't.
It's like, yeah, actually quite a famous thing for Venice Beach, the Muscle Beach, because it's just an open gym in a and this is located at the beach.
Mhm.
So it's I don't really even know why it is that popular, but I don't know in the internet you see lots of videos and stuff like this from Venice Beach, and then they have Muscle Beach. I think it
Really?
also has a big history because this exists already a very long time, and it's just quite unique from the fact that it's like it's not the basic gym
Yeah,
that
yeah.
it's in the nature, it's outside, and you just train in the middle of I don't know lots of people like
Okay.
around there. Now you don't see people, but
Yeah.
usually there are like there's a lot of a big crowd, lots
Mhm.
of people going around there, and you're just basically in the middle and working out there.
That could be quite the experience.
Yeah,
Having all the eyes on you.
yeah. But if we go to the next picture, this is also in Venice Beach, and
Ooh. It's
yeah,
just straight out of like a video.
yeah. So this was it's basically right next to Muscle Beach, and
Yeah.
this is where they have also like a basketball court, so you can really do lots of sports there, and it's just public, so you don't have to pay anything or something like this
Mhm.
to go there. So it's really nice, and there we also met like people where you just talk to, and then you play with them and stuff like this. You get to know them, and yeah, just the location is really unique and really nice because on the left hand side you had the ocean, so there was like the beach, and there you have all around you have palms, you have great weather. So when I
Yeah.
was there, it was in spring. It was I think it was in was it in March or in April, and we had like I think more than 20 degrees, so it was
Ooh, nice.
warm.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something that I also really liked about Los Angeles. That you really have a lot of things. You have the beach. You have the nice ocean. You have nice weather. But on the other side, you also have mountains, which you will see later when we see pictures about Hollywood.
Yeah.
You also have mountains. So yeah, I think this is just a lot of things combined in one city that for me that are really nice. Yeah, so this is downtown Los Angeles.
Oh, downtown.
Uh,
Okay.
Also, in the background you see the business districts. So these are all big offices and stuff like this. Yeah, which was also quite impressive for me to see these buildings, these big buildings, offices. I think.
Is that you on the picture?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, nice.
A bit far away, but I wanted to get everything in the picture, all these skyscrapers.
Of course, you look like you look small
Yeah.
compared to them.
Very small, yeah. Yeah, this was downtown. This is Miami.
What do you mean by downtown? Is it like what do they?
Yeah, they have a lot of shops there.
So it's like a neighborhood
It's like I
or
would
an area or?
yeah, I would say it's the center,
Aha,
the
okay.
center of the
So that's what
city.
they call downtown, the
Mhm,
center.
mhm.
I always wonder what do they mean by downtown.
Yeah.
So it's the city center. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
Wow, some Elon Musk type of
Yeah,
things.
I had to take this picture because
Of course. You don't need to.
because it was I actually like Tesla, and I just saw the Cybertruck. I think most people have heard about it, and it's just a thing that you saw it when they announced the vehicle, but you never saw that you would ever see something like this in
on the
real life.
street, of course.
But this was something where you actually saw it, so it felt somehow like in a film to see this, because yeah, I would have never thought that something like this can become real. But yeah, this is also part of Los Angeles, that they are just if there's something new, if there are any trends or innovations or something like this, Cybertrucks, you see them in Los Angeles.
They jump into the trends.
Yeah.
So they actually drive them around.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah, they drive them like normal cars, and in some cities, I even saw people using them as Uber. So if you were lucky and you ordered an Uber,
wow.
then
Okay,
you could say.
okay.
Unfortunately, it didn't happen for me, but I saw
Next
some
time.
people. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're really lucky, you could get a Cybertruck pickup.
That's crazy.
Yeah. No, it was actually not hot, but it was like it was really hard. So it's steel. So it was like not the common material of cars. It was like also really flat. As you can see,
Yeah.
the surface is really flat. And it's also, I don't know if it seems like this at the picture as well, but it was really huge. So it was really long and also really high.
Oh yeah, for a second I forgot that you're actually tall.
Yeah.
So you standing next to it, it looks like a normal car, but it's actually not, because
Yeah.
you're taller than average person.
Yeah, and actually from the shape, it's also like very unusual, because you see that it's basically like a triangle. The top.
Yeah, it's cut it on
Yeah.
some.
So the
random
size
places. Yeah.
doesn't really get clear, I think. But yeah, it's actually a really big and long car. Yeah. Yeah, and this was then what we first talked
That's a
about
nice picture.
in Hollywood Hills.
Yeah.
Not in Hollywood at the how you call it again? Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah.
But in the Hollywood Hills. Yeah. So there we actually made a hike in
Oh.
these Hollywood Hills to the Hollywood
Nice.
sign. Right, and this was also really nice. It was great weather, I remember. And from there, up there, you have a really nice nice view about whole Los Angeles, about the whole city, which
Yeah.
is really big, which we'll see in later pictures. Yeah,
Oh, so that's the picture from.
that's a group that of exchange students that we went with to Los Angeles,
Where
and
are these guys from?
so one of them is from no, two of them are from Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Two of them are from Switzerland, and
Okay.
the guy you see on the right, he's from Bulgaria.
Really?
Yeah, he's
Oh
from
my
Bulgaria.
God. So quite an international.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and the small guy from at the bottom. What do you guess? Where is he from?
Some Asian country, I would
Yeah,
guess.
he's from Japan.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
and he's actually that small as it looks like on the picture. He was
But you're
like,
tall. That's not fair.
but you can also compare to the others.
Yeah. Okay.
This was really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and this was then taken in the Hollywood Hills, and in the background you see
The city.
the city. Yeah,
Oh, it's actually a really huge
it's
city.
yeah.
Oh my God.
That's where you actually realize it. So on the left you see some of the skyscrapers, which is
Uh-huh.
the downtown.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have a lot of suburb and a lot of area around. That is really really big if you go around there.
Is the downtown part kind of in the middle of the city?
Yeah, downtown is the center, like the
Then I can
middle.
imagine that you have the same thing on the other side of the downtown area. Basically, the city is huge.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah, right. And this was then, I don't know.
Okay, he's a bit short. Okay, now I see what you're talking about.
Yeah, this was at the I don't know if you've heard of it, but also a big site of Los Angeles, the Griffin Observatory,
Yeah.
from people playing video games like GTA or something like this. They for sure will remember, because yeah, this is also a quite famous place. And from there you also have a view from on the whole city, because it's up a mountain. Yeah.
America. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you are a bit into basketball, you can feel it, I think, a bit better, of how amazing this is.
I'm actually not that into. I don't understand. I'm not into the topic of basketball. I
Yeah.
like watching the games sometimes,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
occasionally.
sure.
But I can feel the atmosphere. It's like
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, for me it was also really special because
Of course.
there is also a very famous player, LeBron James.
Yeah,
very
I know
famous
that guy.
basketball- At least you know him.
It's
Yeah, and this was of course one of the major reasons also why we went there to see him play.
huge. Oh, so you saw him playing.
Yeah,
You went to a match, not just the stadium, but
yeah. I actually saw a game.
that I would love to experience as well.
Yeah. Even though I was really sitting very up in the stadium because the seats and stuff like this are so expensive, you can imagine that.
Were they some celebrities lined up downstairs?
Maybe,
Maybe,
but
okay.
I didn't see them. They were too far away because yeah, actually I don't know how many people have fit in there, but it was definitely compared to the basketball stadiums I've been before in Germany. This is way bigger.
And what are the people with the red shirts? Because I see them everywhere, basically.
Yeah, I think these are just like security people, like to
Okay.
care to see that nobody's
There are a lot.
going on the court. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
So
But
how was the game?
the game was good.
Okay.
So the Lakers won.
Oh, good.
This was really nice.
Who was the other team?
Minnesota. Minnesota
Okay.
was the other team.
I mean, I've heard of them, but I have no idea.
Yeah. So at this time they were also quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was actually the atmosphere was also a bit different than I had imagined, than I expected, because it was when the game was going, it was they played some background music or like some sounds to hype up the crowd, I would say.
So there is music playing on the background while the
Yeah,
play is going.
not like music, like but like background sounds to like
Okay.
to beats, so like to stimulate support basically.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah. Um, and of course, always when LeBron had the ball, the crowd was going crazy. Like
Crazy.
even if he was doing nothing, he just had the ball, and everybody was wow. Yeah, this was really fun.
From the city.
This is another stadium. This is the university stadium.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we can continue here. I don't know if or
You can tell me about the picture. It's
yeah,
fine.
if we already talk about basketball, so here we see basketball at my university, at at Ole Miss, and this was at a basketball game. I think I don't know who we played against. I think it was no, I don't remember who it was.
It's okay.
But yeah, this stadium is also on campus, so this is really like just very close to us, to where I lived, and all students get in there for free,
Oh, nice.
which is really nice. And all the people that you see down, so basically in the first blocks closest to the court,
Yeah.
they are in red. This is always the student section,
Okay.
and they always get T-shirts there, so they are always dressed the same, so
Yeah.
that you can see them, and they are really like really supporting the team, and they are really like shouting and stuff like this. So always when the opposite team has the ball, they are booing, and of course when we make a point, they go crazy.
Of course.
Yeah, and actually, so this is also quite big, compared to stadiums in basketball stadiums in Europe, because yeah, even though it's college basketball and not NBA, but still quite big, because Ole Miss also is a quite famous university for basketball, so they are not too bad in the States in basketball. Yeah, and what you can also see at the, especially in the top in the picture, that
Yeah.
somebody's singing. This was also
They do that.
yeah,
Okay.
and can you guess what they sing? What?
The anthem,
Yeah,
probably.
true.
Yeah, I can just see it
True.
from her.
Yeah, so yes, that's also something that that where I realized also yeah, the American proudness and
It's
stuff like
America. Yeah.
this. Before every game, they sing the anthem.
Before
and
every
they,
game.
yeah, and
Okay.
they not always in this big with this big with a singer, but they at least play it,
Oh my God. Okay.
and then they of course take it serious. They
Of course.
put their hand on their heart and stuff like this, and yeah,
Yeah.
something really special for them.
Yeah. You were in Los Angeles. You experienced the city. What were your main thoughts, or not were, but what are your main thoughts on it?
On Los Angeles?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, it's really the nicest city that I've been to. For me,
The nicest.
yeah, the best.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
I have to say that I haven't been to that many city
Mhm.
probably. So, for example, also in Asia, I haven't been to lots of cities, which I think is also definitely very different. But also from the cities I've seen in the States and that I've seen in Europe, this is the best, as I previously said, because it just has so many things to offer, from mountains to great weather, beaches, and also I would say it's all an atmosphere that you feel there. I don't know. It's also
What about it? What's the atmosphere like? The
yeah.
people?
You just have the vibe of all the new things are, if there are new things, you will see them there as a Cybertruck, for example, or if
Okay,
there are
yeah.
any trends or something like this, they are like really fast adopting to that. Yeah, and you everywhere you have palms, like the
Yeah.
I really like, I don't know why, but I really like these palms because I don't know, they create like
The vibe that they create is really nice.
yeah, like the relaxed beach and stuff like this. Yeah, so this is why.
No, it's okay. It's not for you. Yeah.
Okay, that's why it's for me. It's
Yeah.
a really special and good city.
That's really nice. Yeah, that sounds really nice. You also mentioned that you were in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see the pictures from there and hear about Miami as well.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so this is the first picture of Miami. So at least not Miami directly, but this is from Key West. I don't know if you've heard
No.
of. It's so Miami is really it's south east, and if you go to the most southern point of the United States, then you arrive at Key West.
Yeah.
So I think it was at least 2 hours. I think it was more. It was 4 hours drive from Miami to there, but it's the most southern point. It's also the if you go there, it's like really there. It's basically like islands, and there's like one road that takes you there, and it's also a lot of bridges that on yeah right on how you get there. Yeah, and this is also, then they had a very nice beach there, very small as well. And if we go to
The next, probably.
yeah, I mean another. If you go down, yeah, right, this one with the American flag, one down, yeah. This was taken in Key West, and there are definitely only few people living because it's just very small.
Okay.
But yeah, this is what it looks like. So there is living area. It looks very like clean and stuff like this.
It does.
Not so
Not so American.
not like Miami or other big
Yeah.
cities in the center. Yeah, and also you see what you see very often is the America flag in the
course,
houses. Yeah, and then you have the palms. Weather was also great. It's very hot in there. Yeah, and then I remember that we went swimming.
Oh, nice.
Nice beaches
Nice.
they have. Yeah, so this is.
So that's the beach.
Yeah.
Oh.
But that's Miami. That's not Key West anymore. That's in Miami because you see these big skyscrapers.
Yeah.
That's Miami.
Oh, it's really beautiful.
Yeah, and actually, I would have never expected, but the water there is really warm. So
Really warm. I was
yeah.
going to ask you just about the water, the temperature, and how salty is it?
Yeah.
It's warm.
Yeah, it's definitely so. Because it's also hot the whole day. So when
Yeah,
we were
but-
there, it was like more than 33 degrees every day. So it was like 35 degrees, something like this every day. So it was like really hot. But at night, so when the sun was gone, of course it got a bit colder,
Yeah,
but like
of course.
still not cold. But that's the time where we then usually went to go swimming, because the day we always did different stuff. So we wanted to explore the city the day.
Of course.
So at the night when we came back to the hotel, which was very close to the beach where
That's
I took
nice.
the photo, we went we went swimming, and then the water really was warmer than
Perfect.
outside. So this
Yeah.
was really crazy. I never imagined that the water can be so warm. But yeah, it was really nice to go swimming.
Mhm.
Also, it was very flat. However, of course, you sometimes hear about sharks.
Oh yeah.
There-
Well,
We didn't saw any, but
luckily.
luckily, but yeah, you are of course a bit afraid,
Mhm.
or you just have it in your bag that it sometimes happen that there are sharks.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was in Oxford, so close to university. This
Mhm.
was a shooting range.
Okay. Tematico.
Yeah, so
No, I'm just joking.
so this was a shooting range, a gun range, close to the university. It was something that I really wanted to do because I never did it before, and it's especially in Germany or in Europe in general. It's really hard to to do something like this if you don't have license and stuff like this. But there, of course, it's easy.
We're in America. Everything is possible there.
Everything is possible, right? However, this was also very strange because I remember when we got there, I went there with some friends, also American friends, so they had already shoot a gun and they know how things work. And then we went there, rented a gun, bought some ammunition, and like. But basically, we had to sign a document where I don't even know what I signed there.
Perfect. So
but
very responsible of you.
yeah. Also because my friends told me that I shouldn't show them that I've never, or I shouldn't tell them that I've never shoot a gun before because maybe then they are strict. But so they didn't care.
Why would they? It's just a gun. What can you do with it?
However, then we rented two different guns. One was this gun that you see on the picture, and another one was a smaller gun, like a pistol. And we first shot with a pistol. However, we just had the gun, and nobody told us how to use it. So we bought the ammunition, but nobody told us how to load it, how to, I don't know.
What are these people doing there? Because I've also been like to shoot, and everything was explained very clear. There were some restrictions, some things that you were not allowed to do while shooting, and the people around you were shooting as well. And here, what I see is they just hand you the gun.
Yeah.
And you can deal with it however you want.
They get their cash and then they basically they don't care.
They dip.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, but I mean, so when we came to the range, we were the only ones there. So it was a smaller range. So it was, and we were I don't know, at noon. So people were working. So it was not crowded. But at first we were the only ones, and then we were standing there and asking ourselves or we were trying out on how to use it, how to load it, and stuff like this, and we managed to do it. However, after a certain time, another guy wanted to come. We saw somebody sitting in his car, like I don't know, 200 meters away from us, and he probably also wanted to shoot at the range, but since there was nobody like observing or like there was nobody controlling or looking that everything is working properly, we were guessing that he was making sure that we were not doing stupid things because we were just standing there with the guns. So
nobody around.
Nobody
Why
could
not?
check
Why
what we are doing.
Of course.
Yeah. So
It's
this was very strange, and then. But after a certain time, then he came. So probably he trusted us that we're not doing stupid things. But still, the feeling was then really weird to stand there and shoot, and nobody was controlling. And then you had a random guy who was also shooting there, and I don't know. He in any seconds he could turn left, make 3 shots. We are dead, and nobody realizes.
No.
Yeah, so at least in the first seconds. So this was kind of a weird feeling, but this is just how they do things here. So they use guns very often. So
it's
they
something they're familiar.
They are familiar with. So I think we think that this is very dangerous, and it is, but they are more familiar with it. So I think they just handle it different. But still, it was a very weird feeling.
I could imagine. What's next? Let's see.
This is this picture is taken in Memphis. This was already at the end of the minor before we left. And this is from as you see from the back from the one guy in the Bass Pro Shop. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a famous outdoor shop in America, very big.
I think I've seen the logo, but I don't know if it's from the same thing.
Could be
probably,
because I think it's quite trendy at the moment. And it's like just a very big outdoor and hunting shop.
Oh, they have the
America.
hats.
Yeah, right.
Nice.
Yeah. And these were also again some of the exchange student friends. And by the end we had become good friends. And this was one of the last pictures that we took together. So what you see here, these was one of the typical classrooms where I had my classes in.
I didn't imagine it like that. Honestly.
Yeah, this was a classroom for finance classes.
Okay.
But I had this was in a building for the business faculty.
Okay.
So I don't know for the medical faculty or for other faculties for law or something like this. They had different buildings and different classrooms. But for business students, most of the classrooms looked like this.
Mm-hmm.
You see, like, I don't know, maybe they fit like 30 or 40 people usually were in one class. Yeah, and that's how it looked like. Yeah, so here I just put have some pictures of some faculty buildings on
Yeah.
campus. So they don't look really spectacular, I would say, but usually they
Mhm.
are still very big. And what is very typical for them, they have these big pillars. That's what's
Okay.
really common there. Yeah. And as you can see, it's still snow. So
Yeah,
this
yeah.
was when
In
we
the
arrived.
beginning.
Yeah. And this is another building where no classes were held, but this was like they had like fairs or something like this. It was
Like what? Sorry.
fairs.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
For example, for internship or something like this, when companies or something like this came to campus, this was like a big room where
Yeah.
they can have booths and something like this, and they present
Mm-hmm.
something. Yeah. This was the clubhouse from my housing, from the off campus housing.
Oh, so you lived in that house?
Not in that house, but this was like the clubhouse, they called it.
Ah,
so
the clubhouse where you went clubbing, or?
Not really, but
Okay.
like that you could use, for example, for the pool. So everybody
Okay, yeah.
who lived in that
So nobody lives there, but it's just like a place where you hang around and
Yeah.
okay.
So everybody has their own room and their apartment, but if you want to hang out, you usually go there to also see
That's
other
nice.
people. Yeah. So they had a pool. They also have a gym downstairs. They have a big TV. They have a pool table, so like to play pool, not
Yeah.
only to go swimming. And can play table tennis in there and stuff like this.
That's
This
nice.
was like the administration building for
Okay.
our housing
Mhm.
complex. So also if you had any mail or something like this, you
Mhm.
can send your mail there and then you can pick it up and something like this.
That's nice.
This was also pictured in the first days when we arrived from campus. So you can see, of course, the snow, but yeah, this was then us exploring basically the campus when we arrived there, because due to the snow, nothing was actually working, so everything was shut down. Everybody was staying at home because
How cold was it?
it was like freezing, so between -5 and I don't know 2 or 3 degrees maybe. So the snow was really really hard, so it was ice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, since they really don't often have snow, they don't know how to handle it, and
How to
that's why
deal with
they
it,
had to
yeah.
wait until the snow was gone,
Okay, I
and
can
that's
imagine.
why everybody stayed home. But the exchange student, of course, we had to explore the
Of
campus.
course.
Yeah, and then we just walked around.
Oh, baseball.
Yeah,
Right.
Since I was there in spring,
Mm-hmm.
and spring is not the football but the baseball season.
Uh-huh.
So in fall they always have football, and in spring they have
baseball.
baseball. And this picture was taken at a baseball game from Ole Miss. On the right, in the back on the right, you can also see people sitting. This was the student section for baseball.
Mm-hmm.
They always have a student section. Yeah, and I didn't know anything basically about baseball before, but yeah, I went to the games, and it's I would say sometimes it can be boring because they are usually very long, but it was still actually a nice experience, because
Yeah, it's
you're
something
always
new. Yeah,
something new. You're always your friends there. You just have a fun time, and
that's nice.
Yeah. yeah. So this picture was also taken at the end, more or less, of the minor, where they had the graduation ceremonies.
Mm-hmm.
They had the graduation ceremony actually in the stadium where they also had the basketball games and stuff
Yeah,
like this.
yeah.
If you remember it. Yeah, so really big audience, like lots of people. It would be nice if I could tell you a number of students graduating there, but I honestly
It's
don't know, because this is also just I think this was the business students graduating, so they
Okay.
have all kinds of
Mhm.
faculties graduating, so they had graduation ceremonies on several days,
Mhm.
so also very big. Um, yeah.
And where is that from?
This is from New Orleans, so we didn't talk about New Orleans so far. It's also definitely a smaller
Yeah.
city than Miami or Los Angeles, but yeah, New Orleans was also very nice. And this picture was taken from a in a famous mile there, party mile.
Mhm.
And left and right and everywhere they have a lot of bars and clubs. So this is basically the party mile.
Yeah. I think New Orleans has more a bit of a like a European vibe. Is that right? Or like regarding the buildings and things?
Yeah, not really actually, I would say, because that's also, I would say, there are also New Orleans. There are very a lot of black people also, and that's why also their culture is really different. For example,
Okay,
than
yeah.
in Los Angeles or in Miami, for example. And yeah, depending where you are, there's also very high crime rates. But yeah, it's really still like all the people really like partying there and having a fun time. And you see a little bit of it in the picture of these LED lights. I don't know why, but they were like just within these big mile of people going around. There were like people standing with their crazy motorbikes or also any other kind of bikes that I've never seen before, like
In the
with
streets.
with 3 wheels.
What?
Yeah, but they were not driving; they were just standing there and
Uh-huh.
playing music out of their big boxes, like you know it maybe from some motorbikes when people really like
Yeah.
their bikes and then they make loud music and they like to show people their nice bikes,
There's
and they were just standing there. But it was really fun. Like yeah,
there's so many people at one place.
yeah, it was really crowded.
What's next? Wow. Is that a
This is this was
crocodile?
yeah, and this was
Oh my god. It looks
a
really
small
funny.
one, a small one. Yeah,
Yeah.
this was also this was in Miami, and this was in a taken on a swamp tour. So they have these swamps where they have crocodiles, and yeah, so we made basically some kind of a safari on a boat, and then we drove through the
Yeah.
basically river or swamps. You can say swamps. Yeah, and they just have a lot of alligators, crocodiles there,
That's nice.
and yeah, that's what we
And
saw there.
is that your room there from the house?
Yeah, this was how my room looked like.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, my own bedroom, a small desk, and I also had my own bathroom right next to it. Yeah, and a wardrobe which you can't see, but which is on the right there.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Food.
this is the food from the cafeteria.
Yeah.
So this was a breakfast. This time quite healthy, I would say, because if you went to the right places, so this was the cafeteria. There are different cafeterias, and this was the cafeteria for the athletes. So they had more healthy food there.
Okay,
And
okay.
that's why you could get also fruits. And this was egg and some kind of rice. Yeah.
Are the fruits tasty there? Like
Yeah, they are not really fresh, but they are good. So
they have taste.
yeah, they
Okay.
have taste. Yeah. And yeah, since we earlier talked about the fast food thing
Yeah.
in the States, so this was at Sonic, fast food chain. as you can see, which is also not common, really common here. This was like just a drive-through.
Only a drive-through section. You cannot.
Yes,
Okay.
you cannot enter and eat there, but you can just go with your car there, go to a screen, order, and then go home. Of course, we did not have a car, so we went there with a bike. And yeah, this was food-wise. This was also like one of the worst foods.
Worst, really?
Yeah, sure.
I thought they have really good fast food, like at least tasty.
It depends on where you are. They have some good, but this was like really one of the typical American fast food that was like one of the unhealthiest. I just remember that I had a sausage, and there was a sauce within it, and it was. I don't have a picture of it, but it really looked disgusting. And this was really not even tasty anymore. So even though you think it was fast food is tastes good, but this didn't even taste good anymore. Yeah.
Where is that video?
This is from the baseball game, and this time from the student section.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to give you more feeling of how the atmosphere and stuff like this looks like at the game. So yeah, there you have in the student section, and they are also having some of the students are having barbecues there and stuff like this.
Oh, nice. During the game?
During the game,
oh,
yeah.
Perfect.
And then they are sitting there in their chairs, the sun is shining, and somehow following the game. Yeah, this was like the typical baseball game experience.
Nice.
Yeah, so
some white girl music.
Yeah, as you can imagine, this was taken at a fraternity party.
This is from. I thought it's like from a event or something.
No. This is actually like a fraternity party.
It's huge.
Yeah, so that's why I also took the.
There is a stage.
Yeah.
What? I thought it's like a. You're having fun.
That's what I meant. They have a DJ and stuff like this, so that these are really always big parties, and then they have drinks and stuff like this. Yeah, so this video was also taken in the backyard, so in the garden, but they also have an area inside, so in their living room and stuff like this. Yeah, really lots of people. And
people.
Yeah, and usually they always have how do you say it? They have so this time everybody wore jerseys, basketball jerseys. So they have like a certain topic for the
like
party.
A theme.
The theme, yeah, right, like a theme.
Oh, theme parties! I love those.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing those amazing pictures. It was really interesting to see them and hear about them.
Yeah, I hope you got an impression. If you have any questions or what.
They're all about size, I guess. Like
the
huge car, the huge parties, the huge stadiums.
Yeah.
America, it's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Questions? Let me think about it. No, I think most of them I asked you, like all of them I asked you during the photos, and I think you answered all of them.
Yep.
So, yeah. Once again, thank you for sharing the pictures. There is one question that I actually want to ask you that I missed when we were watching the pictures from the campus. I thought of it. It's regarding the diversity in the college or university. Do they call it college there or university?
Usually they call it college, but it's the same. College or university, I mean the same.
Is there diversity?
Yeah, so I would say it also depends on, of course, where you are. So, for example, I don't know, in California or something like this, there is more diversity and stuff like this, I would say, than, for example, in other states. But yeah, so Mississippi also has diversity, like just due to the fact that a lot of black people, for example, are living there. And also studying there. but yeah, also just the fact that there's a high acceptance rate for the university, so they take lots of exchange students.
Yeah.
I would say they make up also a part of the diversity. Yeah, but otherwise, of course, it's mainly Americans who are studying there. Yeah.
Okay, good. So they do have a like a kind of diverse environment.
Yeah, but however, from also their political view, they are like more Republican and stuff like this. So
In the state.
in the Mississippi state,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So they do not promote and stuff like this diversity and LGBTQ. They usually, most of them, they are not that much into that, so they are more traditional and stuff like this. So
More conservative.
conservative. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In Europe, I think it's like most parts of Europe, they're very open to that, to those stuff. Did you feel some type of huge differences in like the overall, what was it?
You mean still talking about diversity, or?
Yeah, because you mentioned that Mississippi is more like a conservative state.
Mm.
Is it visible except for the fact that they don't openly support? Do they openly discriminate? That's my question.
Yeah, so that's a good question actually. So I would say that it is actually quite obvious that they are more conservative, just from the fact. So they are all there in this state. They are all having like big trucks, like fuel trucks, and they really love their old trucks, and they don't, for example, like electric vehicles, which, for example, in America is a very a thing that is bigger in
Yeah.
California, which is more democratic and stuff like this. So in this term, they are, for example, much more traditional. But yeah, also you still feel it, like the differences when between black and white people. So of course they behave more respectful than when they see each other. But if you are hanging out with, if you're talking with more white people, and I was really surprised about that, and also somehow shocked on how they still speak sometimes about black people and how they view them and stuff like this. So this was actually something that I thought that it was we are humans are improving on that, so on racism and stuff like this. But actually on the way you sometimes hear them talk, or how they sometimes also think about other skin colors or stuff like this, you feel like they are a bit back in the days. And yeah, they if they would behave like this, it would really yeah, be very disrespectful and just not how it should be like.
Yeah. I mean, we've always heard about those topics, that they have a different view on them. But I was really interested if that's like the truth and that's really what is going on there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you also just consider the history of Mississippi, like hundreds of years ago, they were like, because they are located in the south and like connected to the ocean. So they, back in the days when slaves were traded, they were part of this slavery trade and stuff like this. So of course this also still has some roots. So why?
Of course it has impact on the people.
Yeah, on of course. Then it hurts. This history still has an impact. And when then things or racism is happening today, of course they directly address it, and they don't want to have this again.
So they're trying to improve.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the way to go. That's good. At least they're trying.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to start from somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. I always like to mention that everything has an end. So does your minor.
Yeah.
Can you remember what were your feelings and thoughts once you realized that the end is approaching?
Yes. So for me, the end of the minor was a bit different than the total end of the stay abroad,
Mm-hmm.
because after university ended, I still had a week in Miami. So this was really at the end, the final end of my trip to the United States. But yeah, so I was sad that everything was over already, because yeah, by the end, of course, you had made lots of friends, you had connections, you had a great time, you got used to life there. And I would also say, like, looking back, that the college life that they have there, you really can't compare it to the student life that we have here in Europe, or also at Fontys, because yeah, there you are in an environment of just students everywhere around. You can do sports anywhere you want and always meet people like in your age, like people that are in the same situation as
Mm-hmm.
you and stuff like this. So this is really the college environment is really something that you I think you just have there, and I've never experienced this before. Yeah, and that's why I was also like quite sad that it was over then already.
Did the whole experience change you in any way?
Um, yeah, I think, of course. But yeah, it changed me in many ways, I would say. So of course I learned a lot about on the view of Americans on the world.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but what I think is also something that I took away was like their their openness and their kindness towards other people. So, which is a thing that I realized when I came back to Germany or to Europe, that it was like, again, when you walked on the streets, everybody was minding their own business, and like just having the tunnel vision and just uh, going straight around without looking at each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there I think I really learned like to look at people and to just talk to them, to be happy, to smile, like just to have to have a what a positive environment can impact on just a random meeting of people.
That's nice.
Yeah.
If I want to go to America, is there one advice that you would like to share with me?
One advice is of course difficult, but
If you could think for more, perfect.
um, good question. I have to think about it. One advice. Um,
Just something that could prepare me for the whole experience.
yeah, yeah. I mean, of course, what is different is what's it? I have to think. Give me a second. Basically, what I've already told a lot of things about. So one thing is really hard to say, but in general, of course, the food is different. You have to get used to this, and yeah, also the culture is different, but I wouldn't say so. I would say that it's easy to adapt to that,
Mm-hmm.
to meet, to make friendships, to meet people. Um, yeah. So otherwise, if you're not, or if you can also deal like with a special kind of freedom they have, also for example with guns and stuff like this, so that there is yeah. You could say more uncertain situation of certain things happening, because like guns being legal of course also has an impact. So it happens that you just see somebody or meet somebody that carries a gun with him. Just knowing the fact is of course something that scares you, but if you are really there, I felt safe. And I don't know, after a certain time, I think you can deal with that
Yeah, you get
feeling. But
used to
at the
it.
beginning, I think you have to be aware of that things are not that strict there. Yeah.
Okay, so be aware of the regulations that they're a bit
Mm.
more free there,
Yeah.
and anything can happen basically anytime.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, is there anything that you would like to add on the topic of the minor?
No, I think we discussed everything now.
Okay, I'm happy to hear that we managed to cover all.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for sharing your stories with me, your experiences, for your advice in the end, of course, and for the amazing pictures that you showed me. We'll be back with the topic of the internship.